right, I might be a little bit earlier than I initially planned on, but I'll be honest, I was just kind of struggling to hold back on this one. This is one of the game franchises that I grew up with. I was a big fan of this when it, early on came out. This franchise has seen me through some dark, heavy times. We got an opening video here, and there is going to be some words. I'm going to let these rattle off before I get further into talking.
Der Mann des Schattens, auf der Suche nach dem Abendrachen, ist noch nicht zurückgekommen. Der Herd der Finsternis grollt. Helba, Königin der Finsternis, stellt schließlich ein Heer auf. Alparon, König des Lichts, grüßt sie, und sie treffen sich am Fuße des Regenbogens. Die verfluchte Welle muss gemeinsam bekämpft werden. Der See von Alba brodelt. Der große Baum des Lichts fällt. Alle Macht zerfällt zu Tropfen im Tempel von Arche Köln. Wesen ohne Schatten, ihre Welt zerfällt zu nichts. Der Mann des Schattens auf der Suche nach dem Abenddrachen kehrt niemals mehr zurück.
All right, so to kick off and going with this franchise and why I'm playing this, and why in the modern day when everything's at least in the 1080p resolution, all that stuff, why is this thing sitting here in a 4:3 resolution? Well, I am playing this. This is a PS2 era game, so obviously it's going to be in the 4:3 format that was prominent of that era. But also, I am currently, and I'm going to be totally upfront and honest about it, this is running through an emulator right now. The franchise as a whole is actually very rare. All right, I'm going to put my name here for the username. The franchise is very rare to get a hold of for all of the discs. There's four parts to one continuous story. And frankly, being able to get the first two isn't that hard. The third one is a little difficult, but part 4 is very costly for people to try and get a hold of.
I'll check my email.
All right. So one of the things about this game is this is actually trying to emulate the early day experience of the MMOs. Hey Richard, how are things going? Hopefully things are going well for you. I'm doing about as well as can be expected. Had some issues earlier today, but details on that in the Discord. Can't spell critical hit without CRT. Yeah, no, that's exactly the era this is from. But yeah, I actually looked up the dates on this because I was kind of curious. So this game is trying to emulate the, and I did say that I am emulating the games right now, and that is why I wanted to be able to kick up the resolution and make things a little bit clearer where I could, a little bit sharper where I could. So I put some time to try to balance that out. I also tried to check the audio balance, make sure things are going to be going fairly okay. I should be definitely louder than everything else, but when things do get going, it should start to be a little bit clearer and able to be picked up well. But this is trying to emulate the early days of the massively multiplayer online experience. These days, everyone's, familiar with World of Warcraft, or if you're not familiar with that one, you're probably playing Final Fantasy 14, I think is the online one. Back in the day, it was 11. But I wanted to look up the dates because I wasn't sure fully, but this game actually predates World of Warcraft, at least as far as its public release. I think the public release of World of Warcraft was something like 2004, at least what I was able to look up, and what I found is this game came out in 2002. So, this game is actually a little bit, I wouldn't say ahead of its time. MMOs were there, but everyone knows World of Warcraft is what made MMOs stick around. So I thought it was kind of cool that this game popped into the scene before all of that. And there is a lot that goes into this game. This is a JRPG at the root of it, and there's a lot of dialogue, reading into things, trying to speculate. And Project.Hack, as it was called back in the day, was actually meant to be a multimedia experience. And so if you just played the games, you got the entirety of the game side of the story, but you didn't get the full picture of the story of the .Hack franchise. So what we have is we have the games. There was the anime at the time, .Hack Sign. There were novels. I think there were even like CD experience, like sort of like voice acting plays or something. I might be a little off on that. I've never looked into those, but I did do a lot of the reading back in the day. I read the novels, AI Buster. I even read the novel depictions of the exact game stories as told by one of the characters we'll get to meet later on. But I just want to cover all of this as groundwork before we get into this. There is actually an email list here that you're going to get based on things that you sign, you know, that your character that you're playing signs up to get. So obviously we made our account. We're going to hear from CC Corp. This is our buddy Yasuhiko. We'll read that in a minute. There's news. There are real world events that take place, and some of them have strong correlation to what you do in the game. What you do in the game, what's going on in the game, actually has tangible effects, at least within the story of what you're going to be told about in the news. When you go into the world, there's going to be a forum. Again, something that was just reminiscent of the era that is not seen as often right now. Hey, Richard. Wow, I said Richard earlier. Hey, Richard, welcome to the stream. Hopefully things are going well for you. I did see your first comment coming in, and I totally forgot to say that to you. Be careful with the dreaded E word. We don't want Sony come crashing through. Yeah. Well, you know, they have done dick all with the .Hack franchise. They re-released the GU games, and so if I were to play the GU games, I'd be playing those. I have it on the Switch and on the PC. I also have the original discs on the PS2. However, there is a part 4 that was eventually released with the remakes. So there is more to the story to get there. So if I were to go through those, I could definitely be doing those on streaming legitimate means. But again, I actually have the original 4 for this game. I just wanted to give viewers a little bit of a better visual experience. So that is why I did what I did. But yeah, you are right. I should be very careful about saying that through the rest of this. Anyways, the last bit of information I wanted to get out there is there is going to be forums. There are going to be things that you're going to dive into. This entire experience is telling its own story in a multi-series process. There was actually an entire OVA series. And again, I do have that as well. When you bought the original PS2 releases, what came shipped with your game, you got the game and you got an OVA. You got it's a 4-episode OVA system. So you play the first disc when you play the first game, and you actually get to follow, again, characters that are living in the real world, experiencing some of the things that are going on and how the effects of the game and the effects of the anime and all of that are playing into what people are having to live with. So it is really cool that it's something that can be enjoyed in whatever medium that you want to experience it within, but it's also something that if you want the full picture, you've got to be willing to take the deep dive. And I really like, and there's consistency. I like that, and there's consistency across the tellings. So anyways, we do have the information here. Obviously, I'm not going to go through the things from the CC Corp. When you play through, if you really want to dive into it, you can. There's going to be a lot of lore that's going to get, put out into here. The game has its own lore, and the game has its own story that it's telling. But there's also the stories that the game. So it's very meta. It's very meta. It's a game within a game. So the game I'm playing is telling its own story. The game itself is trying to tell another one. So you can actually dive into all of that. So coming in from our buddy Yasuhiko here, the menu music feels very Mega Man Battle Network. Yeah, I can kind of see that. I was absolutely vibing to the opening music. There's an opening video that plays, again, back in the day, and it's a common thing that happened when you stayed on the menu for too long. And I was just vibing to the tunes there. Again, modern day equipment. I have a lot better equipment that I had back in the day when I was first playing this game, and being able to hear some of the music is, you know, in depth to a detail that I couldn't my first time playing it as a kid. And I say kid, I think it was like probably 12, 13, 14, somewhere in that range when I came across this series. But anyways, yeah, so it's it was something really nice to go through, and I'm looking forward to it. One of the things that Dot Hack does very well, and the anime is like famous for it, is the music. The music is a big deal in Dot Hack, and I can't remember the composer for the anime, but she did the entirety for Dot Hack Sign, and the music there is like, again, if you're into like the music of video games or the music of anime, that is one that is iconic. Hey, did you finish registering? What kind of character are you? I do want to also add before I read the O here, there was also an MMO that existed for this game that you could play. Unfortunately, that only ever got released in Japan, but if you're ever looking for it, it did get translated by fans, and there is still somebody out there keeping servers alive. He is actually very prominent on YouTube. He's also very prominent on Twitter and other platforms. The man gets around, and he is the Dot Hack Guru guy. I can't think of his name right now. I will probably make reference over on Twitter to him at some point, but yeah, Dot Hack Fragment is still out there. Fans are keeping it alive, and this is why game preservation matters. Anyways, yeah, continuing on with the story here. Hey, did you finish registering? What kind of character are you? Oh, and like I said at school, you'll regret it if you use a smart-ass name. I'm Orca in the world. Obviously, we've gotten it by now. The world is what they refer to as the world in the Dot Hack story. So keep that in mind. Don't call me by my real name. You can be a different person when you're there. Well, more like the guy you want to be. Anyways, I'll be at the root town. Alright, so there we go with that. Let's take a look at the news here. So again, right now it's just kind of filling you in and building the outside world here. They're letting you know that this game is a big deal. Everyone's playing it. Everyone's loving it. Oh, what is wrong with my tools here? There we go. So yeah, there is, yeah, they have like it's a VR system. So that's the heads-up display within the series right now. And you actually get to see the heads-up display as the game continues and you get into other releases. So like Dot Hack GU and all that. These things actually evolve and you get to see the designs change and adapt. Alright, Ultimate is the people that make I think it's the people that make the operating system we're on. I think that's the way that one worked back then. Alright, let's go into the world. So yeah, here is the thread board, and going through all of this, there is going to be people having conversations. There's actually posts you can make through here as well. Eventually, people talk about the things that are going on. Again, this is all to immerse yourself in the world that's going on. This is all going to be about the games. Again, if you want details about the game itself within it, this is where you're going to go and see all of that. I'll probably go through and clear that out at some point later. We'll read the prominent things for the story. Welcome to the world, Butt Cheek 69. Yeah, try to avoid that as a username. Although in the modern world, everyone's going to lean into that hard.
You made it.
So yeah, this is our buddy Orca, or Yasuhiko. Probably shouldn't be dead naming him in the world. Also, yeah, actual voice acting, so I don't have to read all of this. Welcome to the world is also one of the opening lines from a character in the GU franchise. It's very much the phrase that is kind of the I don't think it's spoilers because it's literally the very opening of it. Your main character gets tricked and you get bodied, and it's basically like, hey, welcome to online gaming. people are going to be shitbags. And so it's literally like your character's there bleeding out and this guy just comes by. Welcome to the world, buddy. kind of some cheeky shenanigans like that.
Hey, it's me, Orca, the Blade Master.
Whoa! You look so different from the real Yasuhiko.
Hey, in this game I'm Orca, regardless of what I am in reality. I'm pretty well known here.
So if you have, again, if you're of the mind to go through and deep dive into this, there is in the AI Buster series, they go over the reason why Orca is rather well known. Back in the day, there were like major raid events and things like that. Trials that people would have, you know, you'd have these things in World of Warcraft 2, RuneScape. There were always like big events and big challenges that would come and go. Orca and I think the other character's name is Balmung, cleared a primarily heavily. Hold on a second, 1 minute. All right, yeah, if you were paying attention on Discord earlier, I had some family events going on, and it sounds like I've got, you know, family coming by, swinging by the house here. So you might be hearing some things up going around in the background. I apologize if you do. Anyways, yeah, it's family is just, you know, trying to be there for family right now, and so they're gonna swing by, take things they need and things like that. Anyways, Orca and Balmung cleared out a challenging road, and they did it as just the two of them, and so it was kind of like that's the whole big deal there.
What?
No, you look great.
Anyway, take this. Member address is the flashmail address you can only access in the world. With flashmail, you can exchange messages with others in real time, as long as you are in the world. It's mostly used by newbies to contact.
This is the most Y2K coded thing ever, and we just started. This makes me feel like watching Shrek on the portable DVD player while drinking a bottle of Sobe and neglecting my Tamagotchi. That is absolutely where this is. Again, this game came out in 2002, so that's exactly what you're looking at there.
Try it out by inviting me to join your party.
Although, let's be honest, if you're playing Dot Hack, you probably didn't have a Tamagotchi, you had a Digimon.
First, press the triangle button to open the menu. In the menu, select Party.
One of the things that modern games do when they have these tutorial moments is the game will oftentimes fiddle you through it. I can actually cut Orca off and just like go right through all of this, but I'm not going to.
Select Add. Names of players who gave you their member addresses.
Just because, you know, the voice actors put in their time to give the lines, I want to hear the lines.
Choose a player you want to invite to your party.
Also, again, I am getting a whole new experience on the audio. Admittedly, I can see that there is some issue on the menu systems, but luckily we shouldn't have to put up with too much of that.
You probably only have my member address. Now, press the X
Even the
button twice
smileys
to send
in the
a
chats.
flashmail
Yeah,
to
that is not a thing people are messing with anymore. So we are going to go through a tutorial. We're going to do a tutorial mission area,
It's kinda weird
and
being
we are going to have a hell of a
face.
kickoff point.
See? My name appears under your screen. That means I'm in your party. By the way, flashmail is only available when you're in a town. Oh, and you can't contact people when they're not logged into the world.
So that is another thing that is interesting in this game as you play through it, is there will be characters that will come and go. There will be people that just, they have a life outside of the game. There are characters that you'll probably grow to have, you know, great favoritism for in your party, and you're going to reach a point in the game where it's just like, they had, I don't know, a vacation trip come up, they had a sports competition, and you're going to be at a pivotal part of the story, and they're just going to be like, look, I've got my life, I can't be here for that, and you're going to have to fall back to your B or C team. So it does actually benefit you to make use and figure out the rest of your party dynamic. One of the things that this game does that obviously an MMO could not properly implement ever is the menu system does pause the overworld. So a lot of times trying to fit certain skills in or issue a need for somebody to be healed, you can do in real time, but like the actual depiction of it freezes the game as you're going through the menu systems, and we'll go through that as we get there.
People do have a life, you know. We're not online 24/7.
This definitely rolls my mighty beans. Were those the little capsule things that had the weighted marble in them? And you like, there was like an entire series of games around them. I think they even had like bowling and things like that for those guys.
In other words, you can't always count on the same members to form a party. So, try to get as many member addresses as you can. You'll have more fun that way. Well, how you play is up to you. But since EXP and stuff,
yeah, I never had any of those. My cousin had probably hundreds. And from what I recall, they had an entire bowling alley game about them. There was like a sumo ring thing that he bought where you like flick them into the field and they have to push each other out of the rings. I think he had a basketball one too, so there was like a little catapult that you flung those guys at. Again, yeah, very late 90s, early 2000s.
This is the Chaos Gate, a sort of transfer device that takes us from one place to another.
Also, obviously, all of the character models are very PS2 era.
Now, press the X button.
One of the things that we're going to get into eventually is you actually get to build all of your keywords. So if you want to go level grinding, you actually have to build all of it too.
Select new keyword. This is the keyword screen. You put the 3 selected keywords one by one.
I didn't realize I was cutting them off there. My bad.
B, and C.
So right now, these are the words we have access to.
Is all the keywords you have. You can collect more of them by reading your
and they're going through it right here.
And from other
but
players.
There is some interesting elements to a lot of this.
Let's enter some keywords by starting with part A. Select burst.
So I want to go through this.
From the list.
There are keywords that get used in the novels and as well as the anime. And actually, if you watch those and input them into here, you can actually get certain events to trigger. I don't remember how many are in the first game, but I know in the later games they become more prominent. And so trying to get access to those areas and go to them does actually give you things. You can get items, you can get character items from the series. You can even meet and run into characters from the anime or from the novels and see them depicted here in the game for some of the events playing out. So it's almost like you're able to create your own cross thread to see where in the story you are for certain events.
Good. Next for part B, select passed over. For the last one in part C, select Aquafield.
Now I'm going to be honest, if you look in the status field, how you have all of these gem systems, and I couldn't tell you what the hell the gems mean, other than things. If there's no gem, it's probably not that deeply involved. If there's a lot of gems, it's probably deeply involved. I can't tell you what the colors mean, and I can't tell you about where they're placed other than each one corresponds to the keyword that you used. I wish I could read it better than that.
Oh, one more thing. You see the symbol on the left next to the keyword? That's the server symbol. It indicates which server you are.
So we are in the Delta server.
This symbol is Delta, so we're logged on to the Delta server.
Makanu.
The list on the bottom right is the area status list.
That also means using the same words on different servers can give you different locations with different events. So again, if you're trying to follow along to events within the anime or the novels, you actually do have to pay attention to which server are they in when they make use of the area words.
See the jewel next to the field type and dungeon? That indicates how the selected keyword affects the status.
Cool. Again, like I said, they tell you that this is how you affect things.
For example,
But they really don't explain it well as
See
to
the
what
jewel on
each
the
one
right?
means.
this means that the field type is being determined by Aqua Field, the keyword in C. We don't know what kind of field the current keyword will create until we get there. But once we learn the effect of that keyword, we can combine it with other keywords effectively. For more details, check out the board on your own time. All right, let's get going to the Delta Bursting Passed Over Aqua Field. Select Warp.
So yeah, obviously we are kind of cheesing it. We're walking into a tutorial place with a level 50 character. Not exactly something that we're supposed to struggle with. But you know, we gotta
Before
learn
we
the
get
game.
going, let me explain to you about the camp.
Alright, I am gonna skip through this. This is gonna take way too long if we actually sit here through all of it.
Rotate the camera.
Yeah.
Push either the L1 button or the R1 button to move the camera. Good. You can zoom the camera in or out by using the right
I'm gonna be
analog
honest, my standard way to play is gonna be pretty well zoomed out. And then again, making use of the spinning around as we go.
That's it. Finally, you reset the camera by pushing the R. There you go.
Alright, there we go.
Okay.
I don't think anybody wants to sit through every single bit of the tutorial here.
Grab- Now, you see the.
So yes, off to the left there is a special spring. We'll cover that when we come across it later on. Off to the right there is going to be the dungeon location. When it comes to playing this later on, there's actually going to be a much deeper, larger map, and where we spawn in, you might not see half of these things, and you actually will have to explore the field and figure out where the dungeons are, which also means you have to deal with the threats that are out there on the overworld.
Alright.
Alright, let's run on in.
By the
Again, skip through here. And one of the things in this game is, again, early on, you're going to have to get used to missing a lot. I will cover this once they give me control and I'm able to look at the stats, but you'll also see when I'm buying equipment in the game, or one of my favorite things that you can do in this game is you actually can go and interact with the NPCs, and they're going to have things available for trade. So you're going to be able to look at what they have.
and select. Okay then.
Alright, heal up. There we go.
That you can.
So, I have access to my skills, but again, because this is an RPG, I also have access to the party skills, and this is where the whole chat commands comes in. I can tell them to heal up. Now, the thing is, without going through, and I'll show it here in a second, because again, it's gonna be, Alright, so I can go through and select how each one battles as a strat, or how we battle as a strategy as a group. And I can go in here and I can actually tell him to, you know, in general, just provide first aid, or I can tell him specifically what skill to use. Obviously, you can see the overworld map is pretty well frozen in place. I will probably more commonly be fiddling through here, just telling them to use whatever skill they feel is fitting when I need them to use a skill or general first aid. I might go through here a little bit. I don't mess with a whole lot of the rest of it, but there you go. One of the other things that I wanted to go over is on my character here, go to the equipment. Whoops, equipment. When I'm getting equipment in this game, I heavily value accuracy. I'll be honest, I don't need to hit like a truck. One of the things that I hate, though, is just not hitting something. And in this game, there is going to be things that will allow you to affect the enemy, you know, apply poison on hit and things like that. If you're not hitting the enemy, you're not triggering those skills. So I would rather hit something than not hit something. Now that we're in the digital age, I bet you could literally look up the keywords and cheese this game so much that it can kill a New York sewer rat. I wouldn't be surprised one bit. I also, Man, I might look up all of the like hidden events to go see all the things that the game has to cover. Because again, that's something that was a big deal for me playing through it, is finding some of those special events. But anyways, the other thing I wanted to go through is, let me see if I can figure it out. Oh man, is it only in the overworld? I can't remember. Yeah, there we go. There is the FMV view. So I actually can look around from the perspective of my character, and I can see the other characters. And as you can see, Kite is a bit of a short fuck compared to Orca. Orca is a unit of a man. I am a short boy. Unfortunately, I would want to change the controls. They're a little inverted that way, but you know, is what it is. All right, let's go in here, clean this up. Probably, honestly, not all that worth it for me to go through it. I'm only getting a little bit of experience here. I'm going to get better experience in the next area, and I'm not going to get enough to level up, and Orca's just going to do the meat of the walking through here anyway, so guess I got too close to that one. There we go. Yeah, Orca's just going to walk right through it, so what's the point of fiddling around here? So you're like me with Pokemon moves, Thunderbolt over Thunder. Absolutely. Again, I hate not hitting. I would rather hit less hard than just not hit. But the other thing is,
now we can start exploring the dungeon.
Again, being able to trigger those status effects. So, like Thunderbolt, for example, right there. I think Thunder and Thunderbolt both have a chance to paralyze. But what the hell is the point of the chance to paralyze if your attack doesn't hit in the first place, you know?
One thing you need to remember is that you can't gate out when you're in a dungeon. To gate out and return to the town, you have to go back to the field. The sprite Ocarina will warp you to the surface, but you can't use it during battle.
I think the game that I played that most solidified that experience to me, I think it was Morrowind. When you build your character, you can put your stats in the blocks that you want, and if you neglect, I can't remember what stat it was, but your ability to hit your opponent, you can start the game and just not be able to hit fucking anything, and you will have a nightmare of a time trying to play through the game starting from that position. I overdump into that stat so hard because I can start to adjust and gauge how often I want to hit something and trade off into hitting things harder as I play through the game. But I don't want to start in the game where I'm just not able to hit anything. And that game really solidified the need to not whiff. And so I think that was the game that was like hardline set me on that mindset.
This is the treasure box, but you knew that, right? You should know that there are two types of treasure boxes, normal and booby-trapped. This one's normal. Hit the X button to open it. This one's booby-trapped. Notice a different color? Try to open it as it. Just use the fortune wire on it. This item will disarm the trap.
Alright, so he's got fortune wires on hand. In the future, I actually have to be the one to buy everything. The party will actually come with some items, and they restock in between runs, which is also really cool. But this also means that if I want to be prepared beyond that threshold, or if I want things that they're not going to carry, I still have to be the one to support it for the whole group. Luckily, I'm the one that gets all of the goodies anyways, and I get to decide who gets what, because, you know, one-player video game experience. Alright, I think that's actually a spell item. Yeah, okay, so there are scrolls that you can use to trigger certain spells. So obviously you're going to learn spells as you play through the game, but if you want to have access to other ones, there you go. Alright, so we have fortune wires, we have fairies orbs. We're actually pretty well stacked out to do 1 or 2 runs of a mission before we have to start buying things. But it's gonna be well on me to actually build things out. Of course the gun guy values accuracy that much. You might be able to dodge a wrench, but I bet you can't dodge a bullet. You can dodge a wrench, and you can dodge a bull. Wow. And you can dodge a ball, but can you dodge this casual? And that is the primary character through much of the Dot Hack franchise.
What the? Did you just see
Even
that?
though we are
Yeah.
experiencing
Was
the
that them chasing
characters'
her?
stories as we are,
But
everything in
Something
this
like that on
franchise
this level?
revolves around that character. So even though we are the main character and we're the one that's going to face all of the threats and we're the one that's going to solve all of the problems, still at the end of the day, we are the main character of the game. We are not the main character of the novel. We are not the main character of the anime. And we are not the main character of the world. That would be her. So let's go see if we can find where they ran off to. You can dodge a bull, but good luck with a red shirt. So yeah, we even get to see the inside of our character's mind. Again, one of the things that I really enjoyed going from playing these games to reading some of the novels is you actually get to see the character perspectives of, again, there is a primary secondary character. So Kite is the main character. There is a rather strong staple character that is going to be constant throughout all of the playing. And she is the character that you get to know the ins and outs and her real world experiences as well in the novels. And it was really cool seeing
dungeon,
both of them.
There are rooms with traps everywhere. The only way to get out of a trap like this is by activating all the magic portals in the room.
Also, if we're trying to dodge a bull while wearing a red shirt, you're probably gonna get the Star Trek experience. Good luck.
All right, let's charge to that magic portal.
Alright, swing over here, do my piddling little nothing damage, and watch Orca just do several thousand in one swing. But yeah, obviously you can kind of see that is going to be the difference between... I think Orca's only level 50 right now. Let's hope it's... Oh, man. Okay, so, red for bulls, means aggression, and if that boy is in, breeding season, and he's feeling a little particular about a certain way, God help you. Ooh, whoops, wrong one. I wanted R2, not L2. So, another thing that I would say about the experience here is there is also an entire card game that comes with the Dot Hack franchise. For the longest time, it was really hard for me to find any of them. Again, then we had the modern digital age and the era of eBay. And I was finally able to find a couple of boxes for them and get my hands on some unopened packs. Obviously, welcome to the age of everything being shove it up the ass raw expensive. But I wanted to have some. I wanted to have enough to be able to play some decks and be able to play the game. I almost made that sound like what it wasn't. Play some decks and play the game. Obviously, you know, I'd have to make whatever I wanted to play with somebody, but I have enough to make several deck variants. But one of the things that I loved about it is there are a couple of cards that make references to scenes within the anime too, and the game. But most of your cards and characters are actually based on the game. So you get, back in the day, you couldn't like rip data from the discs all that easily like you can now. And so you couldn't just look at the character models and all of that. And so if you wanted something like that, you were playing the card games, you got those character models in card print. And it was a really cool thing to be able to have.
There's only one of them at the dungeon's deepest level. and you can get rare items from it.
You're also going to be able to get a lot of trading fodder here.
That's enough adventure for now. Let's grab the treasure and get back to town, shall we?
So in the .hack fragment game, which again was the MMO, again, I believe the entirety of it by now has been translated by fans. There are actually seasonal events too. So there's like actually a Valentine's Day event. There's a Christmas Day event. So as you go through and play that game, by the way, you can play it on your own and you don't have to connect to the server. And they even give you characters that you can build a party out of, based on, I believe, the anime? I think you get the anime characters in that one. You might get a couple of video game characters too. But yeah, you can actually go through and experience a lot of it, and going through some of the events with some of those characters will also give you specific key dialogue. But if you're playing online, you can play with other real people too. Again, one of those things where I just loved the idea that this thing was so multi-formatted. Again, it wasn't just, hey, let's make a game. They wanted to build a universe and a franchise. And although it doesn't get the love that I think it deserved of the time, it's got a massive cult following. I'm a big fan, and I'm gonna go through the whole story. We're gonna see a lot of the things develop and evolve, and we're gonna see some of the stakes rise, and we're gonna see probably stories about a couple of people dying, because that's what happens.
If we had a Sprite Oak Arena, we could warp out of here, but we don't have one. So we gotta go back the way we just came.
So the music in the background here as well, I actually have a CD that contains like 32 tracks from across all 4 games. It's like 30 or 32, somewhere in that window. Again, things I've collected over the years. I just, like I said, a lot of .hack fans are big into the music of the franchise. All right, we got a couple of goodies. Speaking of holidays, I'm surprised we never did anything for St. Patrick's Day on the Discord, considering your heritage. Yeah, I was unfortunately, working that short period job there, and I was too exhausted to do anything or reference anything. St. Patrick's Day came around. I wanted to watch Boondock Saints or Boondock Saints 2, but yeah, I was far too tired. I was dragging ass hard.
What's this?
Yeah, we didn't do anything this year.
The power it holds can bring forth either salvation or destruction at the whim of the user.
So, Aura actually has relevance to the primary creator of the world. We're going to dive into some of that, but I love how the evolution of modern internet culture and the story and character of all of this, as things go, the primary game developer for the world was an absolute simp. But yeah, we're going to go through some of that. Just remembered my favorite book reviewer called Ready Player 2. Bad fan fiction for Sword Art Online, which he said itself is a bad fan fiction for .hack. So yeah, a lot of people, get into the debate about like what is better, Sword Art Online or .hack. I'm of the opinion that Sword Art Online was really, really bad anytime Kirito is involved. For whatever reason, Kirito brings down what is Sword Art Online. Sword Art Online otherwise is a great IP concept therein. I'm gonna keep this going here and let this go. We are about to see one of my favorite characters in the OG. Oh shit, do we not see her? I thought we got to see her. No! Oh, that sucks. All right. Anyways, we'll cover we'll cover Helba when we get to see her. But anyways, I was not a big fan of the Sword Art Online when they had. Did I say his name? Kirito? Sorry, yeah, when Kirito was involved, something about him brought down the entire experience, and it's also why the Sword Art Online Abridged is so good. They just made Kirito better. Ah, there she is. All right, we did get to meet Helba. All right.
Why was he upset? I wanted to ask him, but he wouldn't even pick up the phone. And then?
And this is where people draw the connection between Sword Art Online and .hack. If you're familiar with the concept, you die in the game, you die in real life. Well, it's not really death, but...
The next day, I found out that Yasuhiko had been hospitalized.
Everything revolves around the Starbucks ghost. Oh, God! Oh, she does kinda. Yeah, she does kinda. Yeah. Oh, that's... I'm never gonna be able to not see that now. Gee, thanks, Rigid.
I rushed to the hospital, but they wouldn't even let me see him. But I guess it's better this way. I didn't want to see him all week, and he wouldn't want that either. But what the hell happened to him? I have a feeling that the key to it is somewhere in the world.
All right, so going off of that, the thing I wanted to emphasize is with Sword Art Online, when Kirito's not involved, honestly, I don't mind it one bit. I think it's actually pretty good. I think they have a decent story, a decent concept, some really good characters throughout it. Something about Kirito just drags it down for me. To all users of the world, we apologize for the inconvenience due to problems with our servers. Currently, we are focusing our efforts in finding the cause of the problem. However, in order to proceed efficiently, we will limit play to only the Delta and... Oh, geez. Is that the Omega sign? Servers. Thank you for your understanding. All right, so there we go. We got we're getting the corporate world view here. They're gonna tell us, all of the ways to cover things
I
up.
should post on the board about Yasuhiko. Maybe someone will respond to it.
We're gonna see the corporate world at work. Wait, hold on. I think this game is supposed to take place in the future. Can I scroll up? All right. My friend is in a coma after playing the game. He's hospitalized and still isn't out yet. But do these things actually happen? Does anybody know the reason? Anyone know someone else in the same state? How can I get him out of the coma? The people who made the game look here too, right? Please give me some information. Thank you. So if we go in here, it's listed as 2001-10-20, and I can't remember. Yeah, so these are 2000, 2001. But I can't remember in the storyline where that falls in place, but I think around the Y2K event, there is something that they referred to as Pluto's Kiss. And that's a whole phenomenon about a... Man, it's been a while since I've read about Pluto's Kiss, and that comes up more in explanation in the novels. But I think that was probably in the late 90s, early 2000s. Even this is dated 2007 to 2010. So it's interesting that the dates there. I wonder if these are set arbitrarily based on what my system is supposed to represent as, because not playing on my original hardware with the original clock correct. So, I don't know, maybe that's a factor of it, but Pluto's Kiss is an event that was basically a kid online dicking around writing code, didn't realize what he did, caused a whole lot of problems, and if I remember, I think he was even put to death. So yeah, it's like a child did that, but it caused so much havoc that in order to appease the masses, they essentially got the lynch mob after a child. Thank you for visiting The World. All services are currently unavailable due to maintenance. We apologize for any inconvenience and ask for your patience. Alright, well, I guess we'll back out for now. Maybe someone read our message and they sent us an email. If you're wondering why I did all of the glitch work in the thumbnail, here you go. This is a message from the girl we saw there. Hold on, I want to read this. I jumped into Sword Art Online during the second season and stopped because Kirito is a really boring main character. He's what you get if you took a random background character and said you're the main character now. Again, I completely agree. I don't think Sword Art Online Kirito is... He's not atrociously bad. There's nothing about him that is just like, God, I hate this so much. It's just... he drags down what is otherwise a pretty decent story and concept therein. And of course, there is certain elements to it that they get into that I personally find, a little bit of issues in. But, there is also a certain bit of suspension of disbelief and also the idea that, hey, these people have been trapped in a world. Who knows what people, what's going on through minds and all of that stuff. So yeah, it's kind of a thing there. But again, even getting past that, getting into the other arcs, the other stuff, even as other things came about, I still thought, there's something here. But Kirito, stop being shit. By the way, if you have not watched the Sword Art Online Abridged, it is a fucking masterpiece as far as taking something, poking fun at it, and making something better than the source material, my opinion at least. Knowing a little bit about the source material does help to really, really deep dive into the enjoyment of it, but there you go. Got the lynch mob after a child. Yep, Twitter definitely exists in this universe. Oh, yeah, no, probably, yeah. Alright, I'm gonna try to go through this. So it's Aura, please, or plead? Could be plead. To the one who holds the book. Skeeth is looking for me. There is no time, please help me. I think that's the approximation of what was sent. Who sent this? I can't read it. Well, I gave it my best effort. Again, I do have some knowledge of the game to try to interpret based around that. So let's check out our message. All right, nobody responded. I love this tune. I also love this character because, again, you really get to see her evolve as a character. And you also, again, from looking at this from the book perspective, you really get a lot of good details as to why she did what she did here and why she's an insufferable bitch.
No.
Oh, I get it now. You are a newbie, aren't you? I might have guessed. Well, are you or not? Come on now, don't be shy. You can tell me. Listen, in case you're not aware of it, you're being very rude. It's impolite to stare at someone like that. You have to understand it's the same as the real world. Don't you get it? Ugh. Last chance. What is up with you anyway, huh? Come on, will you say something already?
She's huge. She is a Heavy Blade character, so I'm sure that has nothing to do with it. But yeah, Kite is also the smallest of the character classes. I think there's only one that can get smaller, and that's the mages. You know, obviously mages are allowed to be very tiny. I was gonna say insignificant, but that's not the right way to go about it. But you're very squishy characters. Well, I guess I'll get my gear first. I want to collect some information as well. So here's where the thing actually opens up. You can actually go through and run into other player characters. You can talk to them for information. They'll talk about some of the special trades they want to make. So right here, what was it, the Insight book? This is a rare item, and if you look at it, you can see why it's rare. It gives you a permanent stat buff. Getting a hold of these is massive. It is not mandatory. You can go through this game and get almost none of these ever. But also you can see here that there is high level equipment. So one of the things to put here is not everyone can wield every other weapon. When I played Fragment, I played a long arm character. And so I actually could either wear light armor or the same kind of armor that our main character Kite here could wear. But I got to use a spear rather than the twin blades. Really, the big benefit as far as that goes is different weapons. I can hit a little bit harder and I get access to a decent number of spells. Much like Kite, it's a very good middle ground character. I just wanted to have a spear rather than the twin blades. But yeah, so Kite can't use this, Kite can use this. However, this is not optimal for Kite, even though it's level 21 and probably better than what I'm wearing. It's not as good as the other stuff he could get access to. And so all of these characters that you're going to run into in the game all have names as well. And you can run into their posts on the server, so you can find all of that stuff too. So there's the twin blades, there's a fire spear. Alright, miner's gloves is probably going to be pretty good, so let's see if we can make the trade happen. I think I can probably justify... trading away one of my Resurrects. They're very valuable, but I shouldn't need too many of them. So there we go. Just like that, I have acquired... Oh, I do have steel blades, so I'm going to put those on. You can also see that my gear determines what skills I have access to. That's probably... yeah, that's light armor. I don't need that. But there we go. Big bonus. Now, if I wanted to, I can go around and check what everybody has available, what everybody wants to trade off with. I'm not going to go through all of that right now. I don't think there's a whole lot for me to run into here. Yeah, so I'm going to go to the item store, pick up some items that I know I'm going to want to have a lot of access to. So Kite is basically a football and everyone else is the punter. Got it. Spellcasters are like that. Kite is a... based on your build, you can justify him to be a tank role. Because he gets very high evasion. You can build him to be a dodge tank. That said, when he gets hit like a fucking truck. And unfortunately, he is also frontline DPS. That's also why they have a lot of the evasion. Alright, so I'm going to want to have a lot of fortune wires on hand. Probably 10 for a while. The worst thing you can do is run into a trapped treasure chest and you can't open it. You can carry a lot of items. Right now we can carry 40 and we can store even more. I don't have a lot of need for a lot of these items. Again, I could probably buy a few more Resurrects. I think I'm pretty well stacked for the early game. So we're going to take that. We're going to save just to make sure that we do that and start a save file. Oh, and one of the other benefits is when you play through these games in order, you actually can move your save file from one game to the next. And there is a real tangible benefit. There are things that carry over based on some of the interactions you have with characters. how certain characters are feeling about you within that. Kinda, sorta. It's more so about the mail system there at that point. But all of your items, your money. So when this game came out and you played through this game and you got to the end and you wanted to grind your character to the end level for that disc, and you wanted to build out your items and stack yourself to the teeth, you can go into the next game and be massively equipped for the task at hand.
Wait a sec.
And there is a later part in the game, in the series rather, where doing that and going into the next game really does have some feeling benefits.
Yeah, you.
I'm partway through the portal.
I know some interesting keywords.
Kite obtained a cake. Yeah, don't say that one too fast. It's going over my head why not to say that fast, but I'm not going to try it out loud because I feel like I'm going to put my foot in my mouth.
If you go with me, I'll tell you what they are. Do you want to know?
And again, the interesting keywords she has, we don't really get details about that until later in the game. If you're reading the book, you understand fully why she's just like, hey, I need somebody to go with me. And you also know why out there in the field, everybody else was doing a base running thing and she was a full mad sprint. By all means.
On, that's the spirit. Spoken like a true newbie. The keywords are Delta, hidden, forbidden, holy ground.
And this is an iconic place within the franchise, and it even has relevance across different interpretations. The books make this a key place. Even the sequel series, the .hack GU, this is still a massively important place. And what you're gonna see in this place when we go there is important to this game, and how it changes is important to the later games. All right, so let's start by building out our party, and obviously we can't send our data to Orca, who is currently in the game, but is also not in the game, and so very unfortunate there.
Okay, here I come.
There are also going to be characters that you can totally miss. Like, there are entire party members that you can end up not recruiting if you miss certain windows within the game. So I'm going to try not to do that. I'm going to try to get my my party list as stacked as I can. And there are also some really good, I don't know if they're secret characters, but there is some post-game content and a lot to go into with that too, so. I think in the word list, yeah, we have a pre-built one here, Hidden, Forbidden, Holy Ground. And so, again, I mentioned I don't understand how to read this, but, like, the field type is also picked by Part C, but also, it's a water. You'll see when we get in here. It doesn't make sense to me. None of that information off to the right ever made a lot of sense to me. I like the change up that they gave it in GU.
Huh?
Never mind, let's go. Well, are you going to escort me like a proper gentleman?
And we are about to see in this cutscene what it is that makes Kite so important to the story. Also, I do love that there is little quips your party members can shout at you while you're playing. I think they can even have full-on conversations. So, based on what certain party members you have on hand, you might get certain conversations to come up too.
What is that thing? Stay back!
She has no idea how to attack.
So that's it.
Skaith, Enos, Magus. I can't read anything else. The inscription is faded.
By the way,
Hmm?
I guess you can tell that I'm a newbie too.
So, Black Rose as a character, I actually have a full poster of her as a full printout from the era. I actually have some other dot hack artwork as well that I would probably post in the Discord later if I can find it.
You see, I'm trying to find.
I really don't have a spot to hang any of it up, but I really wish I did. But yeah, you know, wall space is what wall space
No time
is.
to explain. It's too dangerous here.
What?
I'm telling you to get out.
As it stands right now, I'm trying to find a spot for me to settle things out for my fiance and I to, you know, start building out the collection of things. I've got to move some of her stuff in, but I've also got to build out, you know, the ever-growing collection of us together. So
This one as well.
I likely will never get to put these things up on the wall.
That thing should have been dead. Why is it glowing like that? It's so freaky. Is this for real?
It's a bug from a computer virus. The virus is rewriting the data. It has a hit point that's infinite.
This is the one.
You must escape while I buy some time.
Because of this thing, I'll kill you.
No! You can't kill it! Leave it be or you'll be killed!
The book. Open the book.
The book?
The power
I think this is the only time we see this cutscene to a full extent, and they really emphasize that this is something that the character is really going through. We saw earlier in the emails the head-mounted display unit. One of the things that they do not clarify, again, and this is based on where we're at in the story so far, again, if you experience the full extent of the dot hack universe, you get a little bit more detail to this, but certain events that happen for whatever reason can trigger beyond the visual. And so it's a collection of visual and audio that essentially the game can send coded experiences to you through the flashing of lights, through some it gets very like government agent conspiracy shit, but basically it is feeding an experience to your brain. And so there are characters that can like freeze up, momentarily black out. Things like this happen in the stories here and there. And right now we are going to see Kite go through a rough moment. You used the installation book, Book of Twilight. But this is the only time that he goes through it like this. So, in short, his character data was rewritten, and he felt a lot of that. Or experienced it, rather. Between that and the trauma, there you go.
That skill. Now,
At least that's as I understand it to be.
you are the same as
I believe in the OVAs you get experience. You get an explanation around the characters. I think that there's like the virus gets out, and like there is like entire people in movie theaters that get exposed to the effects of it. And they just kind of, I can't remember if they black out or what it is, but like it starts having tangible effects. And I believe that's a part of what was supposed to be going on there.
They shall receive no mercy.
No, that's not me.
I did not expect to find the one responsible so soon.
And Belmong, Belmong. Wow, I am struggling on words this late in the day. Belmong is a very dedicated role player to his position.
No, I don't want to fight.
What is the matter with you? That's hardly
The character designs in this are really good. I like the face paint, especially. It really makes their faces stand out, which is good because that's clearly what you're mostly meant to focus on. Yes, and you're also going to see a lot of characters have some very unique designs to them as well. Dot Hack really does have its own design flavor that really feels like characters of the era. One of the things I would say is if you want to see some other designs that kind of feed off of that, for example, the face paint that you're talking about, if you go back and watch some of the old Zoids anime, like the Chaotic Century stuff, other characters share a lot of visual designs with what you see in the game here. And I fucking love Helba. And yes, she is a hacker. And you will see how deeply rooted and important she is in the series here. She is also named after a character that the core concept to the game is built around. That's the reason she chose her name. If you were here in the very opening, there was a like scene where they're speaking in Latin or something, and they reference the character Helba.
He would end up like
That's
Orca
who she is
and-
playing the role
and the
as,
planet.
and she is weirdly
That's her
accurate
voice.
to what gets depicted, but there is a reason to that, and it does tie into the greater story at large.
It was the voice of the girl who gave the book to Orca.
I see. But what are you going to do if the data bug shows up again? That power put your friend... sorry.
So yeah, they gave you the very tool that put your good friend into a coma, and if you want to be able to fight back against the issue at hand, you've got to be willing to use that power too. And so this is, that would be a pretty big deal. Imagine your best friend got shot up at a school shooting, and you find yourself in a movie-like scenario, and you're handed a gun, and you've got to stand your ground, and it's just immediately you've got to snap into action, or consequences are going to keep unfolding. It would be one of those big factors you'd have to deal
I
with.
don't even know what this power is. Or what she wanted Orca to do. And what am I supposed to do with this power?
It's often referred to as a bracelet. We don't see it on the character, but there are going to be other characters and people who can see it. And there's going to be a lot of factors into who can, how, and why. And also, I believe once characters start to see it in use, that might be a factor later on. We'll let it develop beyond that as the story gets told. It's been a long time since I've gone through this game, but I am super excited.
All I want to do is help Orca.
Well, I've got to go. Today was... I don't know what to say, but... Good night.
And if you are somebody, just because I know Richard might still be in the chat, if you are ever looking for an interesting read, I wouldn't sorry, I wouldn't necessarily say, hey, dive into like all of the .hack stuff or the stuff that is based on the game. I genuinely think you're better off playing the game first before reading that. But AI Buster is a standalone story. There are 2 books in the series. I would say, definitely start with the first one. And if you only want to read the first one, also it stands on its own. Definitely a good read in my opinion. And I believe Rigid and I were talking about this the other day, but given that this came out in the early 2000s, and I think the anime was like right around that same period, this series did something that at the time was, these days it would be pretty well expected, and those who are going to want to overuse the term would be calling it woke. But again, it's very prominent to the depiction of characters within the story. It got into some details and character information. In the .hack sign anime, for example, which is the same one I used to talk with Rigid about it. The primary character is, I'm trying to think how to say this without being spoiler heavy. The character is suffering amnesia at the start of the series, and there are realizations as you go through it, and payouts at the end when you see the wrap up of the series and the story. There are things that come into play that would definitely, there are things that would make you say, oh, hey, if you're gonna be a hater, you would simply just be like, oh, that's a woke element. But when you actually dive into the story and you experience the character portrayals, you kind of understand why. And it really does expand and unfold in a very meaningful way. We got some new information on our coma post. And all of the information was deleted. Gee, I wonder why.
The message I posted is deleted.
But again, all of that storytelling happens beyond, or earlier than this whole, is it or isn't it? How do you tell? Where do you draw the line? And it is also, again, in my opinion, very good in its portrayal because it is so well depicted and explored and expanded on. Black Rose, I believe you. I don't really understand it, but I will believe you. I'm actually really busy, but I'll help you when I have time, so call me up. Thank you. Good to know. We need to have someone on our side. Black Rose is the character I mentioned earlier that is going to be massively available and in most of the depictions of the story. She is also in the lore as it expands beyond this series. One of the characters, just like Kite, that gets referenced and talked about by players and fan bases, even within the story itself. That said, I don't think Black Rose is one of the ones that becomes a big factor in GU. And if we decide, if I decide to play through all of this and then play the GU games, we will see some information around that. Message deleted is a very fitting line for a YouTube stream. If I remembered that happened, I probably should have gone with that at the very beginning. It would have been a good one. I've seen your powers. You can rewrite the monster's data by performing data drain. And she's basically telling me how to do it in the game. If you use it wisely, it will be very valuable in the future. You will need its powers. You can check the spread by a gauge in the skill selection menu. When the spread is at 100%, there may be a lethal effect on your character. So be aware of the spread of the viral infection. So this is a very powerful tool that you have in the game. You can use it on characters that are not these immortal, impossible things to kill. You can use it on standard enemies as well. There is a benefit to it. There are things to get, but as she's getting into, as you use it more and more, you as the player you will experience a build out of the virus, and by overusing it, you can have negative effects on your character, and you can even force into a game over where the effects of the data drain, as we saw how it affected Orca, turn inward and affect your character. And yeah, you want to avoid that. That's the big game over scenario. If you defeat monsters without using data drain, then the spread will decrease little by little. So do not let it get above 100%. I believe there's even a like a big post game at the end of the entire series scenario where you play through the game, and it's a pain in the ass to go through because you have to straddle that line real hard. And another warning: you are always being watched. Though you may not wish it, you will be the eye of the storm in the world. That is the fate of the one who bears the bracelet. Prepare yourself.
She knows about my bracelet. Who is she?
Also got some new information on the news. What do we have here? The world for idiots. The volume will go above and beyond the world with... Okay, so this is... somebody is doing a writing process to explain the world. Fair enough. So right now, there's probably going to be some information on the board here. I want to log in and see where the game itself is going to take me. See if we have anything building up here. But I am getting close to wrapping up for the day, so I'm just going to see where we're going to be set off for in the next one. Yeah, just what I thought. Here we go.
I saw a strange character in the alley. It looked like a cat. Is it possible to edit like that?
And here we see another important character.
I saw too. I prefer bunny girls, though.
Hey, calm down, Sieg. I'm still upset that Elon Musk has not delivered his promise. He made an AI character to represent his artificial intelligence system so that he could have his own waifu experience, his own gooner bait for his robot. And he still didn't make her a cat girl. The man promised us cat girls, and he can't even deliver digitally. Anyways, I'm going to save it here. We are going to see that character next time. And we are going to unfold a little bit more of the story. And by then, I may or may not be a little bit higher level. We'll see what happens. Anyways, thank you so much, everybody, for stopping in. I hope to see you next time when we delve a little further into the story and we continue to see things unfold, because things are not done being bad yet. Have a good one, Richard. Have a good one, Rigid. Hope to see you guys next time. As always, love y'all. Bye.